my name's Emmanuel.
And we're going to start a periodic show on YouTube every couple of days or whatever. And today we're going to just do our preview show telling you about what we're going to talk about. It is concerning the coronavirus anyways. So one of the things we're going to look at is quarantines or house arrests or lockdowns, how they work, how they're different in different parts of the world, and how are people coping.
People with disabilities, how are they coping with this? And people who have suicide thoughts. We also want to hear from them.
So we're also going to look at terminology. So terminology, words. We're using lots of new words now. Social distancing, social isolation, new normal, conspiracy theories, and public health. What do these words actually mean? We're actually going to tear them apart. People will say these words and just nod, yeah, I know what it means. But we don't know what they mean. They're new things, and we need to talk about them and rip the words apart.
Brennus and I are also going to be talking about, is racism on the rise, such as prejudice as well.
So we're also going to look at the social contract and what that is. So a social contract is when large groups of people want to govern each other together and how that works. What's the trade-offs, pursuit of happiness, you've heard these terms. That's part of that. So we're going to look at more modern ones through the Weathermen and the Students for Social Justice and so on. But also we're going to look at Plato and earlier philosophers and what their ideas were. What kind of world do we want to live in? What kind of social contract can we now build in this new world?
YouTube, Facebook, UFT, and the news are now participating in this censorship. Anyone who speaks out about or has different opinions will get taken down from YouTube or Facebook.
Yes, it's a problem. So another thing we're going to look at too, another episode will be about worldviews and what does that mean. So currently there's a lot of talk about people talking about science, and that's a worldview, way the world is seen. Scientific worldview, technological worldview is prominent now, mathematical worldview. But we're going to look at that. We're going to look at others and examine them. Indigenous worldview, philosophical worldview, historical worldview, and so on and so on.
Also going to be talking about fear of death, the unknown, and our lives. What I mean by that is people who had support incomes, jobs, that's all gone. Entertainment, restaurants, concerts, that's all on lockdown.
Yes,
so,
very good. And
how are people coping with that?
Yeah,
we don't know.
Very, very restricted life for sure. We're actually going to talk about the environmental issues, capitalism versus each other, how do they work, can they work together, technological lifestyles, eco-central, and so on.
How are people's behavior in public versus private? For example, what I see on the streets is when I'm walking, people will walk around me. When I go to the store, people will stop and wait for me to walk by. And I gotta tell you, that is very frustrating. I'm pretty sure all of you can agree with that.
So political systems, and why we're going to look at that is because as we come out of this sort of momentarily pause, well, it's not momentary, it's lasted 2 months, could last longer. And what are we looking at as far as political systems? Democracy, anarchism, classical anarchism, socialism, communism, and even fascism.
And relationships. Relationships with our family, friends, intimacy, parenting, anything like that. I want to know, how are the children coping with this new staying home, don't go to your friend's house? That's got to be tough with that. I also got to say, for example, I had someone ask me, do I still sleep in the same bed with my girlfriend at this time? So
that's any of their business, right?
That's
anybody's business. So we're also
you gotta know me first.
Yeah, very good, absolutely. And even then. So anyway, we're also going to look at 5G. There's a lot of talk about 5G, how that works. We're going to actually talk about the new technology, and we're going to have someone come in and speak, and we're going to show other videos and other clips as well as we go along with these different episodes.
One of our big topics is going to be rights groups. For example, I was in a rights group where we helped out a whole bunch of people and made them have voices. But during this coronavirus, I had a different opinion. I had a different take. Is this real? Everything. So I had to leave because it was getting too complicated and I was getting attacked for my beliefs.
And that had to be frustrating. Anyways, so we're also going to talk about Robert Kennedy Jr. coined this idea, talking about the two types of sciences. One is established science, which is basically science that we know about, we learn in school and so on, and there are scientists that do the scientific method, trial and error, different lab experiments and experiments in the wild and so on, and they work together, peer-reviewed stuff and whatever, versus the the science of the establishment, which is the powers at the top, and the pseudoscience possibly, or who they're directing to say what and what they actually are, what kind of science they want to tell people rather than what they don't want to tell.
Astrology and our universal connection. Everything is connected to everything else. We're going to be talking a lot about that.
Very good, very good. We're also going to look at the vaccines coming up. Are they good or are they bad? Why do they need to be mandatory? We're going to examine medicine overall, and we're going to have people talk again. And we're going to look at that. That's going to be a whole issue for sure.
COVID-19, the virus. We want to know, what are the real numbers?
Yes, and it's something to really know, because it's very confusing in what's happening right now. Technological challenges in our world. Also, we're gonna talk about, as you mentioned, COVID-19. What is it? What is COVID-19? Is it a biological weapon? Is it a natural virus in concern? Is it related to the environment and our abuse of the environment and all the different angles? We're gonna look at all the different angles.
And we want to know what's really going on. What do you guys experience? Let's have a big conversation about this, a big topic. Write down in the comments below, and let's be reasonable. Save the hate mail and all that stuff for another time. Go.
Yeah. And we might even have someone bringing somebody to be interviewed on that subject to give us their own. We could show clips too of people's own experiences and stuff.
And special guests too.
Yeah. So I'm also going to look at the Nuremberg Code, which was written after the World War II. It was done in Nuremberg, so that's where the trials were held. It's based on, during the war, Hitler and his cronies had the Nuremberg laws, new repressive laws, in particular against Jewish people and others. But the Nuremberg Code really was directed towards the scientific experiences that were done in the death camps and concentration camps near the end of the war. This was to prevent this happening again. So it's a code that talks about how people will have their own decisions and their own, whether they want medical experiments done or anything like that. Now the problem why I'm bringing that up and why we're going to talk about it is because that seems to be under attack now with governments talking about a mandatory vaccine, which will be forced on people. We're going to talk about that.
And a big topic we're talking about is surveillance and the state. What I mean by that is smartphones, TVs, everything is now being monitored.
Facebook too, you could say
Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Facebook is a major thing.
Yeah.
When you take a picture, they want to know who's that other person on the other side, and I think that's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff and how it works, and again, we'll have guests in. One of the last couple of things we're going to cover is revelations and revolutions and realizations. So what are we learning from all this? Where are we going? How do these things tie together? And, yeah.
And another topic we're going to be talking about is spiritualism. Religion, I know that's going to be a big, big topic, and maybe we'll make it a two-part episode. But another topic that I want to bring up is another topic.
Yeah.
Another topic that we're going to be talking about, you may have heard of it, one's a book and one's a play. 1984 and No Exit. Stay tuned for that one.
Yes, for sure. That'd be a very interesting talk. 1984 in particular, George Orwellian, kind of what's happening today. This is what's happening. And one of our last subjects we're going to cover, and of course we're going to add other ideas that people come up with. Say we'd have at least 2 months, some people longer and maybe longer, time to contemplate what our lives mean. We live in a world of consumerism. We're called consumers rather than citizens now, often by politicians. And so we need to look at what meaning in our lives are we going to make. If the environment's in trouble and we're in trouble, whatever, how are we going to make our lives meaningful? How are we going to change our lives? So we're going to talk about all those subjects. So anyways, that's what we're going to look at. We're going to cover many of those subjects and many, many more. We're looking forward to you joining us. So again, signing off. Before we sign off, we're going to read a poem by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken.
Please enjoy.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. then took the other as just as fair.
I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood. I took the road less traveled, and that has made all the difference. So thanks, folks. What we're talking about when we read that poem each time at the end of our show is to get people not so much about walking down two different paths physically, but here and in your gut, your soul. Make yourself individual. That's the whole point of this whole show too, is to think for yourself, use your mind, use your gut, use your heart, become in tune with who you are, and take that road less traveled and make your life meaningful. Anyways, we're signing off. I'm Brennus.
I'm Emmanuel.
And we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Hey, big shout out to my friend Brennus for participating in this video, and I want to say to you guys are the best. Thank you. Please subscribe, comment, and share this video. Share as much as you can so we can get this word out, and we'll try to make another video. You guys are the best. Stay tuned for more. Take care. Bye.